I flew from Canada to LA, California for a facelift, neck lift, lip lift, and lower bleph because it was cheaper to do it in the US. And if you've ever wondered what this process is like, I'm sharing the unfiltered and honest journey of my surgery day, and it was not what I expected. Okay, it is the morning of my surgery. I'm feeling a little groggy, I think from some medication I took and just the night before and how I slept. But yeah, I'm feeling a little like, what the am I doing? And I'm also really excited. So it's a weird mix of those two feelings, and I think that's probably pretty normal to feel a little nervous and scared and like wondering like what, like this is kind of crazy, like am I really doing this and spending all this money? And but I also think it's, you know, normal to feel excited. And I'm not scared of the surgery process. I've been through this before. I'm not scared of going under the knife. But I think the thing I'm most scared of is the recovery. I know what recovery process is like. It's just not the most fun. I know I'm gonna be super stiff and sore in my neck and face. It's gonna be hard to even turn my head. It might even be hard to talk and eat for the first few days. And sleeping, you have to sleep just on your back, elevated. And all the ice packs and stuff. It's just, it's not fun, but I'll get through it. Mentally, after it's done as well, you can go through a whole process of like, what the did I just do? And am I gonna like this? And am I gonna be happy? And all those things. Just being aware of that, of my mental state, and staying really strong and positive. Still practicing daily gratitude, I think, will help. And I'm just so grateful for my husband who is here with me and gonna help me through this process. He's done it before and he's super supportive. So if you have someone like that, it even makes it so much easier. So we're gonna go to surgery soon. We arrive at Dr. Batal's office and the nurses are here to get me prepped. So while we wait for the doctors, I start signing consent forms and recording some before footage to document what I look like. And if you're wondering why the heck I'm getting surgery, well, I lost my jawline. It completely disappeared. And I want it back because I feel like I look tired. So we're lifting the jowls and getting rid of the lines around my mouth. Then we are shortening the distance between the mouth to the base of my nose and saying goodbye to those bags under my eyes. Then I had a little hype session because I was still freaked out at the fact that I'm about to get my face peeled off and they hadn't given me any drugs yet. You know, the ones that calm and relax you before knocking you out with anesthesia. One of the first things they do is put an IV in my arm. And because my veins like to hide at the sight of a needle, they actually decide to put 2 IVs in me, one in each arm in case there's a problem with one of them. And me being the freak that I am, I like to watch the doctor insert the needles. But every time I do that, I feel like I'm going to pass out and faint. So I had to lie down and I was quite lightheaded and hot while they finished with the IVs. And here's your science fact of the day. When this happens, it's called a vasovagal response, and that's the rapid drop in blood pressure and heart rate. And I wish I could control it because I'm so fascinated with the human body. I like to watch these types of things. And in my mind, I think if I keep watching, I'm gonna build up my tolerance to it, but that never works. So I guess my eyes just can't stomach it. The funny thing is, the doctor remembered that this happened before.
I think I remember this happened to me the last time, yeah.
Next are the official before photos and videos, and then the real surgery prep begins. They decide where they're gonna cut up my face. No, seriously, all jokes aside, they mark areas where they're going to make incisions, and the scars will be hidden in my hairline and behind my ears. I'm doing a deep plane facelift and neck lift to help lift the lower area that's sagging and making me look tired. Last year I did a brow lift and lipo 360 with Dr. Batal, and I was thrilled with the results. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable and confident with his process and work. Actually, I came to LA in the first place from Canada because I had an unusual situation with a sac of fluid, also known as a seroma, on my hip from an injury when I fell down some stairs in 2022. I wanted it removed and liposuctioned, and I couldn't find a surgeon in Canada who would help me. It's crazy, but no one wanted to take me on as a patient because it was not a typical procedure. I was so frustrated, and I ended up scrolling on TikTok to find surgeons who specialized in liposuction. So now I get a little vacay and sunshine when I travel here, and I'm very grateful that Dr. Batal was willing to take me on and help me when I wasn't a typical patient. All right, it's time to head into the operation room. Wish me luck. If there's one thing you need to know about operating rooms is that they are freaking cold, like ice cold. So I'm very happy they gave me a warm blanket. It was actually heated and I'm feeling pretty relaxed, so we'll see you on the other side.
8 hours later.
I made it through surgery, but I was struggling in recovery. Even a few hours after the surgery, I couldn't open my eyes or talk. It was not something I was prepared for, and it was unexpected because I thought I would go home on the same day as surgery. But I think the doctor realized there was no way I was going to get up and walk on my own. I was so swollen and I had difficulty breathing, so they gave me oxygen and I had to stay overnight at the surgery center and be monitored by a nurse. Finally, I started to feel conscious and I could clearly hear everything going on around me, but it was so frustrating that I couldn't say anything or open my eyes. I realized all I had were my thoughts, and so many of them were racing in my mind. I honestly just kept telling myself that everything would be okay, I would get through this. I practiced affirmations, I focused on breathing, I was meditating, and really trying to embrace an unusual experience. Because I kept thinking about what it's like for anyone else who has visibility issues or difficulty communicating and what their life is like on a daily basis. It was such a different feeling, not being able to communicate the way I wanted to, but my husband brought me a writing pad and I started to write down my thoughts, even though I could barely see the pad. And then I would communicate with thumbs up and down. I felt lucky they gave me meds to help sleep overnight, and I woke up when my husband arrived and my doctor had arranged for a lymphatic drainage massage. It felt great to take the bandage off and get cleaned up because I was not feeling my best.
So how are you feeling?
Rough.
Rough, eh?
The icing felt great, but the massage was a bit painful because I was so sore and tender. And that's totally normal, but it really needs to be done to help reduce swelling and prevent the skin and lumps from hardening. By the end, I felt very grateful and it made a big difference to help me open my eyes. But the best feeling ever was getting drops of water in my mouth. I had a hard time swallowing because my neck and throat area was so tight and sore, and I couldn't sip out of a straw because my lips were so swollen. So they fed me water droplets. And I was so thirsty, I just kept picturing myself looking like this little kitten lapping up little bits of water. I just couldn't get enough. I actually ended up spending the entire day one post-op in the surgery center. It took some time for me to sit up in the bed and move because I was so tired and weak. But eventually I got up, and by the end of day one, I was able to go back to the Airbnb and recover. Crazy thing was that after 2 days of not eating, I still didn't feel hungry. But my husband forced me to try and eat some soup. Easier said than done when you can barely open your mouth. Then it was time for more icing and sleep. If you want a deeper look into the healing process, I put together another video with daily updates for the full 2 weeks. It's linked in the description.